Peace and love. What's good? How y'all doing? This is ZaZaAli. Today is May 24th, 2022. Had to make sure I had the date right. I pray that this message reaches you all in the best of health, spirit, and mind. I am doing really well, and I'm excited to announce that this is the first official content offering of ZaZaAli exclusively. That is what I have temporarily named, and I don't know, maybe it'll end up being the final name, but I've temporarily named the membership page ZaZaAli exclusively, only because I have not been able to come up with another title. I originally wanted to use Alchemy Cipher, but I already had a group-based website or workshop called Alchemy Cipher. So I want to have everything sort of fresh and new on this content-based page that's going to be run through my website, ZaZaAli.com. So for now, it's going to be ZaZaAli exclusively. And if you guys have any recommendations, suggestions, anything dope, you know, I'm a wordsmith, leave it in the comments and I will take them under consideration. This membership page is going to be $22.22 per month. This is going to be where 90% of my content is going to be based. I'm still going to be putting on clips on YouTube and social media. As today, if you guys see this video on YouTube or social media, it will be a clip. I'm aiming for a 1-hour video on this particular subject. This is going to be part one of multiple parts of this particular conversation, because this, you know, this specific subject is very far reaching. There's a lot of layers to this. It's not black and white. So this is just going to be part one. And everything pretty much is going to be centered around my website from here on out. So if you guys want to have access to seeing my content, that's where you're going to need to find it. And I will put the information in the description below if you'd like to sign up. Also, The Kingdom Within, I shot part of that yesterday. I am 90% done with it. So thank you to all the beautiful souls who came to my LA event that are waiting for the final product. I'm really excited about The Kingdom Within. Hopefully my frequency music isn't too loud. But just as with part one, well, not part one, I did a Science as a Weapon series last year, and it was 3 videos, 7 hours worth of content that is free on my website that you can go and watch at any time. But I took a deep dive into, you know, the scientific anomalies that have been happening over the last 2 years. Well, that's what the Kingdom Within presentation is going to be. I have the list here in front of me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. These are a list of the videos that are contained in the Kingdom Within series. 29 videos, there's 72 total slides, and then these are all of the additional subjects that I'm going to be covering in the Kingdom Within. So stay tuned for that. If you join the ZaZaAli exclusively membership channel, I don't know, I don't like that. I'm going to have to call it something else. It's not catchy enough for me. But if you join the page, you'll have access to view all of that for free, or, you know, to be a part of the plan. And if not, it's going to be for sale, not for sale, but for purchase on my website for $33.33. So you'll get that full presentation, plus you'll get the full presentation of my live event in Los Angeles. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about the makings of a genderless world. And let me go ahead and share my screen. The makings of a genderless world. This is part one, and this is going to be a short clip on social media. But if you sign up for my membership platform, you will have the full access to this video as well as all of my forthcoming content. There's also an app for my site that you will be able to access if you want to, you know, have the app on your phone. That way you don't have to have Wi-Fi when you're listening to my content. You'll have access to that as well. So this is going to be a little all over the place, because this is a subject that I have been, you know, talking about. I talked about this in Black Matters Volume 1. I talked about this in Black Matters Volume 2, not necessarily the genderless aspect, but the male-female dichotomy and going into the kind of cracks and crevices of the male-female dichotomy, which is what is, responsible, make sure you guys can still see me, which is what is responsible for all that we've created to this date in terms of what we've produced as human beings. So this is going to be a synopsis of a few different subjects. You guys know I always talk about the mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical aspect. I'm going to touch on some of that today. But like I said, this is going to be an ongoing conversation because literally every slide that I'm going to show you guys, every video, I could do a 1-hour presentation on every single subject. But this is just going to be my, sort of welcome to what you can expect in terms of my website content. And also, this is a very important subject right now. Human beings are supposed to be the keepers of the earth. And there is in Kemetic, not mythology, in Kemetic ideology, I think that's the right way to say it. When we talk about the Ka and the Ba, we are referencing the physical and the spiritual realm, but within that, that concept of spirituality and how they were governing those societies at that time, they were they understood very well that human beings are the vicegerents or the keepers of the planet, so to speak. Today, we have fallen completely away from that, right? So we haven't been paying attention. We haven't been paying attention to the scientific war, to, all of the chemtrails, the shots, and just the male-female dichotomy, so to speak, and sort of the genetic and social and mental manipulation, right? So some of the things I'm going to talk about today is going to be based around that manipulation. And just a side note, I don't do hate on my page. I don't hate people who identify as LGBTQ. I have no qualms with people who are living their lives in the best way that they see fit. Once I started to really look at the world from a spiritual vantage point and understand that every soul is coming here to expand itself in consciousness and awareness and to carry out certain, divine missions or intentions, if you will, I understood how much of a waste of time it was, and it is, not that I ever really did this because I never did, how much of a waste of time that it is in projecting on other people what you think they should be doing and how they should be living their lives. And specifically because I have been, criticized and judged publicly on social media in this cancel culture era. I've been put up on the proverbial cross, if you will, or at least they tried. So I know what it feels like to be on the other end of people's projections, of people's negative energy, of people judging you without even knowing you, right? So from that vantage point, I'm always careful, even when I talk about celebrities or celebrity culture, these are still human beings. These are still people, and they're still part of the collective consciousness. So I'm about love, but I'm also about science, and I'm also about data, and I'm also about research, which is why this is going to be so dope for me to, really be able to stretch my legs out and kind of let my inner nerd go free, right? But I just want to make sure that I emphasize, if I start seeing, real negative comments on YouTube or on any of the social media sites where I post this, I'm just going to turn the comments off. I welcome open dialogue. I always welcome, various opinions. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to, you might feel some type of way about the things that I say, but as long as it's done with respect, I have no problem with people challenging the information. I never have had a problem with people challenging the information or the content that I put out. When you write books, you're giving your mind to the world and you're putting yourself out there pretty much to be criticized, to be judged, or for people to, take the information that you're providing and put it under a microscope, right? So if you take the information that I'm providing and put it under a microscope, even my opinions, perspectives, and the factual information, then we can start having a real dialogue. I want to gauge minds, right? And I think that, there has to be a restoration, a resetting of humanity. We're not there yet. We're in the purging process right now. But there has to be a sort of mental and spiritual and emotional resetting of society. So this is part of my contribution to that. Okay. So we don't do any hate, no disrespect, but I welcome all of your various opinions. You know, I want to hear what you guys think about this, your own personal perspective, etc. Let's see, anything else? So what really, hold on, my next slide. Excuse me. What really made me want to talk about this, well, it's a lot of stuff that made me want to talk about this. I'm going to show some of it today. But Kendrick Lamar on his most recent album has a song called Auntie's Diaries, right? I love his album. I'm actually writing a blog called An Ode to Kendrick Lamar because I absolutely love this album. Even the songs I don't listen to, there's like 3 or 4 songs that are kind of, you know, not really ride to music. It's kind of like when you sit down and listen, you know, you can really take in what he's saying. But I got stuck on Auntie's Diaries, right? Because I felt some type of way, not because Kendrick was expressing his, you know, his situation with his family and honoring those people, but I felt like, and I still feel like, the conversation around all of this, sexuality, gender, has to be balanced, right? I applaud everyone who feels comfortable in their skin and is living to their highest and best self. I don't, you know, like I said, it's not a personal judgment. There's an individual consciousness and then there's a collective consciousness. So this is a conversation for the collective consciousness. This is not a judgment against you as an individual, right? But as I sat with my feelings in terms of Kendrick and I was analyzing myself, you know, it's not Kendrick's responsibility to teach us and to keep us abreast with what's going on on our planet. It's our responsibility. And even though I take it personal, like my research in Black Matters, I have a whole chapter called Gender Bending Chemicals, right? So I have been intentionally taking on the responsibility of not only, you know, passing this information on, but researching and studying and trying to get to the bottom of the, you know, the essence of humanity and what we're all experiencing right now, right? So that was when I went through that whole little process in my head, that's what inspired me to write the blog, number one. But then it's also what was like, you know what, it's time to really start talking about the things that really need to be said, especially from a feminine perspective. So Kendrick, you know, was definitely sort of the precipice to kind of be like, okay, ZaZa, come on. You know, I know this is not a politically correct kind of conversation, which I really don't, you guys know I don't really care about being politically correct. I also don't like talking about stuff that brings weird energy towards me, right? But it's all good because it's going to be on my website, so it won't matter. There was just a side note, there was another school shooting today, just about an hour ago. I've been seeing notifications on my phone as I've been sitting here and prepping for this video. As with everything, I reserve my right to give my judgment or perspective or opinion on what's really happening, because a lot of what is happening on the news and in just mainstream media and in society in general is a lot of Hollywood, it's a lot of theater, it's a lot of psyop, it's a lot of hoaxes, it's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of things that are happening in the background. And as I've said continuously, March, April, May, these are the months where the school shootings or just the mass shootings take this very high sort of, you know, uptick. So I'll do a conversation about that, you know, later, but I want to let you guys know that as I've been prepping this has kind of been in the background, right? All of this insanity constantly happening, this constant wear and tear on our mental and emotional and psychological, you know, mindset. Just the idea of like 18 children being murdered. And not to, you know, first of all, just take a breath on that, but not to minimize the severity of whatever is happening in Texas right now. And of course, I'm going to be looking into it, but that's the microcosm. The macrocosm is that there is a very stringent and intentional war being waged on children. okay, in the scientific field, but also in the mental, spiritual, and emotional realms. So this is not a time to be playing around. This is a time to be serious and to really be paying attention. All right. So what are we going to talk about today in all of the video? What is a woman? Imagine that that's controversial now. People don't know how to answer that question with a straight face. Masculine and feminine do not only apply to gender, mental gender, genetic, social, mental, and modified cultures, rape culture, gender wars, the over sexualization of Black boys, which I talk about in Black Matters Volume 2, science as a weapon, testosterone and estrogen, conditions of the womb and sperm, stem cell research, and the artificial womb. And again, this is part one of, I could probably do 10 different subjects on this particular, topic and not even scratch the surface.
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't.
You can't?
Not in this context.
So
I'm not a biologist.
The meaning of the word woman is so unclear and controversial that you can't give me a definition?
Senator, in my work as a judge, what I do is I address disputes. If there's a dispute about a definition, people make arguments and I look at the law and I decide. Well, so I'm not.
The fact that you can't give me a straight answer about something as fundamental as what a woman is underscores the dangers of the kind of progressive education that we are hearing about.
I mean, when I first saw that video.
Thanks for watching. If you like this.
When I first saw that video, and at the same time, Black America was like, alongside this hoopla and this insanity, cheering for this woman and like, happy and excited for her. And when I saw this video, I was like, so we're just going to ignore this, right? I mean, for someone who's so quote unquote accomplished and has so much education and, is involved in this sort of political arena, to not be able to answer such a simple question as that, it really kind of underscores the lack of any sort of power in the political arena, right? And so this is why when I say, moving out of the race dichotomy, and I say that understanding that a lot of Black people, particularly Black men, because she has a white husband, like roared up against this woman, but a lot of Black women were celebrating her just because she's a woman, and that's not good enough. So CNN, and I'm bringing this, to the subject because in terms of, psychological manipulation, mental and emotional manipulation, and sort of shaping the consciousness of reality, CNN, MSNBC, all of the mainstream media news networks are playing their position. So these are just a few of the, when I did certain searches on Google, these are a few of the searches that came up. And they're all about, transgender and sort of shaping the consciousness and molding people in terms of how they view this particular subject, right? So the mainstream media right now in 2022 is not going to promote anything that is outside the realms of their agenda. I'm going to say that again. Mainstream media, mainstream society is not promoting anything that is outside of the scope of their agenda. So with that as the backdrop, what we have to ask ourselves is, in honoring people's right to choose, in honoring people's right, they have free will, you can do as you please. We also have, again, a role as the keepers of the earth and what we're producing and what we're giving life to, not just physical children, but the consciousness and awareness, the reality on this physical plane, right? So if everything in society, and I said this about cryptocurrency, right? Digital currency, everything in society, these people are controlling and using against you to harm you in a multitude of ways, right? Every